Okay, happy Friday. Let's go. We got a video for you. If you are a subscriber to my channel, go ahead and comment below. Give the video a thumbs up, please. The engagement helps out. And the person, somebody's going to win the set that wins today's battle, because I know who's going to win because it's my video. So I'm going to send this out to somebody. I'm going to have a replacement sent to me. I've already contacted somebody. You know what? Actually, the person that wins this can either get the one that I already possess, or they can get a brand new inbox. It's up to you. One might be faster than the other depending on when I pick this. So you might end up getting a brand new inbox set. Let me go ahead and click start recording, and we are now recording so that this screen is something that I can use. Okay. We are talking about sets that are in the $319 to $399 range. Before we continue, let's go ahead and take a look at the frequency response graphs. All of these sets are tuned actually really good. That's why these are kind of like the best of the best. The anomaly, these are lined up at 500 hertz. The one that would clearly be different would be the Soft-Ears volume sticking its head at 3K. Very typical for a lot of Moondrop and Shenzhen stuff. And it's also got notably less low end than the other sets. It's presenting the vocals more strongly than the other sets that are in this battle. Other notable points before I move along: the Dusk 3.5 has the same amount of sub bass as the Zen's T Pro. I didn't imagine that. But it has less mid bass, and that's kind of notable. It sounds like there's much more bass on the T Pro than there is on the Dusk and 3.5, but the graph says this, and that's like the only objective data we have in this hobby, really, that a lot of people can easily consume. So let's observe that for a moment. Now let's move along. Starting in the low end, actually we're going to do something a little unusual here. We got 4 sets, and I'm going to go ahead and take one of them out just right off the bat. The Soft-Ears S came to me, and the cable failed right away. It pulled off of the sheath, which I thought was part of the termination switch, but it actually wasn't. It just failed. And they saw that in the video, but nobody ever reached out to say, we'll go ahead and send you a replacement. So that cable was kind of sketchy, and somebody won this. Let me go ahead and, I don't have this. I announced it on the unboxing channel, which is where I announced the winners, and I announced that this broke because when I was packing it to send it out, I had to put it in opposite sides because I had made a mistake when I put it back into the foam. And it's got a little lip on the side of it, and I pulled the cap off of it. That came off way easier than it should have, but the set became, I mean, I could have glued it and sent it to dude, but that would have been lame as hell. So I just sent him a mail, and he's going to try to pick something else. We'll come to some agreement, but that, I'm going to go ahead and take the Soft-Ears. I'm just going to delete it. I really wouldn't recommend it, and the quality control of my set was, I had double fail, and nobody from Soft-Ears ever reached out and even inquired questioningly, like, can you explain how that happened? So I announced both of those failures publicly, but Soft-Ears never really brought it up. So let's not even talk about it. So we'll talk about the Dusk, the Zen's Manger T Pro, and the Zagat Arcanus, the latest one. Let's talk about these. I'm going to go ahead and bats out the volume S right there. Get some background music going here. Some Kendrick Lamar. Is that too loud? I don't think so. Okay. The Dusk is a set that, I'll go ahead and put a photograph up so you can see it. My description of my Dusk that I said is a market disruptor was I said that it's related to the DSP and not the 3.5. I'll do that video another day, because I thought way back then that that's a very different, very is overstating. I thought it was a different replay, and I was less a fan in 3.5, but its big sell and sizzle point was the DSP and the presets and all that, and I was just loving it. I thought it sounded amazing. But without that DSP, I thought it sounded notably different, is how I'll put that. So we've got that set. We've got let me go ahead and take this out, the volume S, as even something we're looking at. So that now we're looking at these 3 sets, and these are very similar. So I want you to keep in mind that at certain points subconsciously I'm literally pulling things out of my butt, but let's go ahead and proceed. And remember, calculate the bias. Every time you watch a video, no matter who you watch, consider who they're related to, who sends them stuff, the pattern, the past year, the 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, for me, for them, for everybody. Be a smart shopper. Always consider the bias. Always. It's always there, me, myself included. Now let's get into this. In the low end, the 808 drops, the deck mix stuff, like I'm listening now to Good Kid, Mad City, Public Enemy, The Ghetto Boys, Nas, Jay-Z, Tupac, Kendrick Lamar. This kind of music needs that. I would say that out of the 3 remaining sets, it would probably be, I would go with the Mangared. These are, I believe these are all 2DDs. Let's check this really quick. The Dusk is 2DD, 2BA, 2 planar. The Mangared is 2DD, 6BA. And Zigat is 2DD, 5BA. So these are all dual dynamics. I'm clearly not scripted right here. So that's nice. In the low end, I think that 4-string bass guitars, the 4 and 5-string bass guitars, the pulls, pluck, and releases, the ringing of the string, I think that and along with the kick drum by Bonham on Led Zeppelin's 4th album, the emphatic boom, 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 I think that comes most clear with the Mangared Zen's T Pro. I should just call it the Zen's T Pro. More clearly than the other 2. The Dusk is not a very bassy set. It really isn't intended to be, though it has presets in DSP that'll make it more bassy, one of which I really liked, but in its 3.5 just stock configuration, it does have the bass, but it's not a very powerful bass, but that's kind of on brand with the collaborator. He's not really a bass head. And it doesn't sound like that because that's not really his audience, and I never really described it that way. My personal preference was that preset bass and also another one that was really flat. I can't remember what that, diffuse field, I think, or something. I thought that was super cool because it was very unique. Again, without the 3.5, though, it's a very different thing. It's not a very bassy set. I would take the Mangared, the Zen's T Pro, when it comes to the low end. When it comes to vocals, male, female, Lane Staley, Chris Cornell, Nina doing the cover of Blondie, all of these sets are excellent because I like them a lot. The Zigat, the Mangared, and the Dusk are all great sets. I think when it comes to vocals, the musicality of it, I'm most drawn to the T Pro. And it's notable that it's really close to my target, but I think that's really more, I don't know if that's good. Like I said, calculate the bias. I'm not involved with this set whatsoever. Never have done a collaboration with the company. Don't even know really deeply about it. But it is very close to my target, which exists kind of for a reason, because I think it's a good balance between having good low end but not really killing the vocals. So I think that balance with the low end and the rhythm section along with the vocals playing, I think that the pleasantness of that for my personal preference would be the Mangared there. So I would pick that there. As we move into harmonics and overtones, again, my knuckle on the table, the moment when the stick strikes the ride or the crash cymbal, the fingers pulling off of a bass guitar string, the pick pulling on a string on an electric or acoustic guitar with or without distortion pedals, most of that is harmonics and overtones. And the way that sounds is why we're going to get into why the Dusk is going to not be the one that I select in its 3.5 form. DSP sounds different, and I noted it in the original like I showed you in the photograph. I don't know what that's down to. The planars or something in the upper mids and treble is not really to my personal preference when it comes to the Dusk compared to the Mangared T Pro. I would definitely take the set overall over the Dusk. So I will go ahead and take this set and I'll duplicate it and I'll just jump over here because the battle between the Volume S never happened. And this is what not planning your videos does. Ends up with something like this. And then the other one that I would pick, I like the Zigat, so I'm going to go ahead and take the Dusk out. Remember, this is 3.5. And now we've got two sets that look a lot alike, and maybe I can make this even, like you can see it. Like red would be a nice contrast to the yellow. Can I get there? Can we do this? This isn't really starred. Oh my God. Please, a red. There we go. The difference between this are subtle. I'm describing them would be really, I'm not going to embarrass myself. There's not a lot of difference between the ZGAT and the T Pro. They don't graph very differently. They don't really sound a lot different. And now we get to where we've got two sets that got branded drivers. I didn't even mention that with the Dusk, but I think it's the planars, and those are, I don't know where those come from, but there's not really a set that I'm a super fan of yet, except for the PMG APX SE, which uses it in the sub bass. Now remember, I've said many times that I really think planar's best place is in the bass because of the way the headphones sound, and the Susvara and the HE6 SEV2 and the just the cleanliness of the drum kit and the bass guitar on open back planar headphones. And IEMs, I really think they're best suited for bass, but nobody uses that, and they're putting planars up in that area. So I didn't mention that about the Dusk, but I don't really know what the drivers are, and the planars being where they are potentially is maybe part of the issue. I'm going to go ahead and take the ZGAT, I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to push it up here. And now we've got two sets that I think are... Now, let's point out something very obvious. The Dusk is sold by Shenzhen, and the two sets that are remaining are sold by Linzel. Wow, that's very cute, isn't it? I'll point that out because it's true. And they do send me stuff. And I'm going to get... I'll give it away. The Mangared Zen's T Pro sent to me because I said I'm going to give away mine, so if I could get another one because I really like it and for future reference. And I was told that sure that there should be no problem with that. But there's no time frame, so I just said which one is going to win. It's $40 cheaper and arguably better than the latest ZGAT. It's a push, really. You could pick one or you could pick the other, and I could see how one would pick the other. For this reviewer with my library, it's very hard to really clearly distinguish between the two. The T Pro has a different material on the inside of the shell that's much more comfortable to my ear. The bass does sound a little more potent, but the graph doesn't back me up, and you'd have to do the trust me bro thing, and I won't play around with that. It does sound like it's more potent in the low end, and I like the replay overall. So the set that is the oldest, maybe, out of these, I'm not sure if the Dusk is older or this, but I'm going to say one of the older sets, if not the oldest of all of these, is the set that I would take, and that one of you is going to win if you comment below this video. And if this is out of your price range, I really hope that you're one of the people that wins it, because this is a legit, very, very good set at its price. For $359, the level of audio replay with the library like mine with Kendrick Lamar, Jimi Hendrix, Pink Floyd, Van Halen, Led Zeppelin, Bob Marley, with a library like that, I think you would really enjoy this set. And I think it's still really the best thing that you can get between $300 and $400. If you love the Dusk, I totally get it. I'm sensitive to upper mids stuff. The Da Vinci also is another set, amongst others. Those are two collabs, but there's lots of stuff that I point out, and that's the part that really, it's not the late treble that stimulates me unless it's really boosted. It's something in the upper mids. And sometimes some people bring up the same points that I do. I won't bring that up now, but it's where I'm sensitive and I can kind of hear things, sometimes too much. So this is Backseat Freestyle coming up by Kendrick Lamar. I absolutely love this track. This is dope. This track is the best on the Mangared. Listening to Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young or an acoustic set, it's the same set. Classical, it's the same set. The Dusk, if it was in DSP, I would be able to do that diffuse field, and that would be epic for classical, but we're talking about 3.5. So that's my video. I think the Mangared, however old it is now, when did that come out, is still the best you can get. Congrats in advance to the person that's going to win this. You please wait, and you will be announced in the unboxing channel, which you've also got to be subscribed to. I check that out first. I pick somebody confirming that they're subscribed to both channels, and I send it to them as a thank you for being a supporter of my channel. And the people that are waiting, thank you very much. If you've already connected with me, you're good to go. You just got to wait. And also the flip ears guy, I'll mention you publicly. You'll be sent out with the Mystic and the QB Ears planer, and there's one more that I've got to send out. So I'm sending out 4 earphones on Saturday, and this one from today's video will probably be in a couple weeks. All good sets except the Volume S. And also to companies, when you send something to somebody, even if it's like a demo and a free one, and if you see somebody saying that there's a QC issue, it would be a good idea to just reach out and say, hey, what's the issue with the cable? Can you take a picture? Can you destroy the cable and cut it up, and then we'll send you another? Whatever it is, some kind of comment from the company, because I said it publicly that the cable failed. I said that in the review of it. And then the cap popped off, and I announced that publicly in the comment community section of my unboxing channel. So both of those flaws were made public. If you want to see it, I can show it to you, but nobody ever contacted me, and I really don't. There's great companies like 64 Audio, Tansjim that do fantastic customer service, and then there's other companies like everybody else. And this is way too long. How long is this? 15 minutes and 34 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording right now. And can I do that? Can I get my mouse over that? And I'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Hope your family's happy and healthy. It's training season for this guy, and my kid is getting out of his immunity buildup, so I'm not catching colds every single day. Life is good. Embrace it. Good times, man. Life is really, really good. And I'm out.